Welcome back, everybody, to Pick and Roll. This is your daily NBA betting show on the Hammer Betting Network. You can watch this show on the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network, which is The Board, which you can catch it on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed there. You can also watch it on Twitter at The Board NBA. If you are watching it on Twitter, the link is in the live stream where you can come to our YouTube and you come interact with us in real time. I have the comments open and like to interact with some of them throughout the show. So if that is something of interest to you, make sure you are checking out our YouTube. But on this show, we talk about some NBA related discussion. We do some NBA related discussion. Then we go to Pips, of course, for his best bets of the day. But we always like to start off with some discussion. And the discussion today, we spoke about this team last week, but this team is so good that we need to talk about them again. And I hate to say it as somebody who does not like this team, but the Boston Celtics are unbelievable. They are maybe the greatest offense the NBA has ever seen. They are on pace to do that. They are on pace to shatter the NBA record for offensive rating, which currently sits just under 121, which is 121 points per 100 possessions. That is absurd. The team as a whole is shooting just under 50% from the field at 49.6, just over 40% from three-point land, and they're shooting 85% from the line. Team almost shooting 50, 40, 90. Pips, let's pretend the Celtics are a stock market here. Would you be buying stock in this team to get even better? Would you be holding to maintain this level? Or would you be selling at this point thinking that they just have to drop off in some capacity?
Well, most of it depends on the Time Lord return. I think they will be. I think they are doing all this with, I think, 22nd ranked defense in the NBA, while they were the second ranked defense last season. So there is a huge chance for improvement on the defensive end, and especially when we look at the players on that team, like almost every player is a plus defender. And when Williams get back, I think they'll just, I think they are playing like not 100% every night. They are just, I think they can get better. The Sacramento Kings game was interesting. Sacramento Kings were the second best offense coming into the game against Boston, and they were leading, I think, 86-78 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and then Boston just went crazy, and Sacramento Kings scored 2 points over the next 8 minutes. So I think their defense is just like how hard they try, and it's regular season, so they aren't just pushing it to the limits. But when they do, I think they are unstoppable, and they are actually moving the ball way more than the last season with no new coach, and they have so many great spot-up shooters that, it makes sense for them. I mean, Tatum, Brown, and Smart are shooting below 35%, I think, all three, which is not expected. So we are expecting them to improve, and some other guys like Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, and I don't know, Horford to drop a bit, so it will even out. I think this is sustainable.
And they're 17-4. Like I said, 121 points per 100 possessions, which would be not just breaking the all-time record, but absolutely shattering it. I just have to feel like there is some form of regression coming with this team, but in terms of the record, they are 17-4. That is something I see as sustainable. I had the Bucks as the championship pick coming into the season. They're 14-5, which is behind the Celtics, although Chris Middleton isn't playing. But I think if I'm not going to change my championship pick, but I probably should make it the Celtics here because they are potentially by far and away the best team in the NBA.
Bucks will be my second pick.
Yeah,
so
me as well.
Close. Yeah.
I am hoping for a conference final showdown between these two teams. We're only a quarter into the season. There's still so much basketball to play. But right now, how good would a seven-game series between these two teams healthy that would be so much fun. So let's move in now to the recap. Yesterday, it was a small slate. It was a slate that it really wasn't the best, even with only 3 games on the board. But let's recap it here. We do get the win on the same game parlay. Steph Curry squeaks above his assist line. We had over 4.5. He gets 5. going to Doncic. We had over 29.5 points. And my goodness, I have to ask you about this. Not only did Doncic clear his line of 29.5 points, he had 41 points along with 12 assists and 12 rebounds, doing so with outstanding efficiency as well. Must have been mesmerized to watch Luka Doncic in this game. And they needed every bit of it, beating the Warriors by 3 points.
Yeah, he was just, when the three falls for him, he is unstoppable. Like when you need to contest every 3-pointer by him and go out way out of the paint, they'll leave a lot of space for him. He is just unstoppable. And he was also getting some Luka Doncic calls on the free throws. And it just gets him going. And he was determined to win this game. He was playing like a madman for the entire 4 quarters. He really likes to play against Golden State Warriors. And yeah, he did amazing. And the second part of our bet was Steph Curry over in assists. And the Golden State also made some changes. So they were running a lot of ball handling via Jordan Poole. They were playing Steph off the ball. So this one barely covered. Jordan Poole had 9 assists in this game. But yeah, we got the win. In the last quarter, they actually, Curry had 4 assists coming into the fourth. And they missed 4 shots for a win before making, I think that Kuminga made this bet a winner. But yeah, we have a win and it's nice.
Yeah, nice to have the one win on the slate. I thought the handicap as far as Doncic went was pretty spot on. So enjoyed that one. We have 4 official plays coming today, but we'll get into that in just a sec. We're going to be moving on now. We want you guys to come prop up this fantasy season with Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props, and we want to show you just how easy it is to get involved with Thrive Fantasy. So what you can do to enter the contest, go to the main page, and you can find this, the $20 NBA Wednesday, with a $5,000 prize pool. They show you 20 players, eliminating all of the research, just showing you the biggest players with the biggest effects on the games. You need to pick 10 of the 20 players. You're going to go over or under. They're all assigned a fantasy value based on how likely they are to occur. And after you make your 10 selections, rack up points with Thrive Fantasy on these picks. And the winner for this one gets $1,000, but you don't have to win outright to get a share of the prize pool and get a good share of the prize pool at that, just by making 10 selections here. And right now, we wanted to make it super easy for you to get started with Thrive Fantasy. It's a $20 buy-in for this one, and guess what? With code HAMMER on sign-up, you can get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Take advantage of the $20 NBA Wednesday contest that I just showed you there. But beyond that, Thrive has over $200,000 in guaranteed prices weekly. Again, sign up with code HAMMER, 100% deposit match up to $100. So put down $20, get a $20, throw it on the NBA Wednesday for $5,000. But let's help you guys out even more here when you want to get involved. Pips, let's go to you. You have to make 10 selections here. Why don't you provide your 2 favorites from this slate that you think users can tail, or maybe they want to fade, but what are your picks here?
So I will go. First pick is Kevin Durant over 10.5 rebounds and assists. The main reason for this one is Ben Simmons is out, and in the 5 games without Ben Simmons, Durant had 9 rebounds in 4 and 8 rebounds in 1, and without Ben Simmons ball handling, he should get some more assists. So my first one would be Kevin Durant. And the second one is Josh Giddey over 5.5 assists against the San Antonio Spurs. This bet is a decent one by itself, but Shea is questionable for this game. And if he sits, this should be one of the easiest wins. I think if they announce Shea out, this line will be like 7.5 or something.
So a little bit of a free roll there on Giddy. So using the insight from Pips, that's 2 of the 10 down. Select 8 more. You can get 85 points for that Durant pick. You can get 100 points on that Giddy pick. Rack up the most points. Get yourself in line for a share of that $5,000. Again, sign up with code HAMMER for 100% deposit back up to $100. But let's get now involved into the official picks on the slate for Pips. So yesterday was a smaller slate. We still had a good pick that ended up winning. But today we have more than one for sure. We're going with 4. And to be honest, a lot of them pretty similar to what we had the other day where we had some success. So let's go to Pips for the first official pick on the board. We talked about him on Monday, how highly we thought of him. We talked about him yesterday, how highly we thought of him. And we're going to back him with some finances again, and I think for a very good reason here. Tyrese Halliburton against his former team, the Sacramento Kings, Indiana Pacers, visiting the Kings for this one. Let's hear the pick.
So my pick for this one is Tyrese Halliburton over 31.5 points and assists, which is a minus 120 at DraftKings. And yeah, he's playing out of his mind. He gets like 14 assists with ease. Last game against the Los Angeles Lakers, similar pace to the one we expect tonight. He had 30 potential assists. Like
that's
something
absurd. That is absurd.
That's something we haven't seen for like a long time. And yeah, he had 14 or more assists in like 5 out of the last 6. And going to play against the Kings, who are like 4th worst defense in the entire league, and they play high pace. With him having so much ball in his hands, I think he can get like 13, 14 assists easy. And Kings are the 4th most points to opposing point guards. So I think he could be up for a huge scoring night. I like assists in this one, but I went with both points and assists because Kings are terrible. They allow a lot of points and assists, and I don't know Halliburton mindset tonight. He's coming back for the first time to Sacramento Kings after the trade, and I don't want to go with his assist and then having him score 40 points because he's a madman going crazy on his ex-team. So I think the safest bet is going with both points and assists.
So I don't typically have tons of futures. One of the teams I have futures on is the Sacramento Kings because of their offense. Their defense, though, is terrible. They're winning games despite that because their offense has been so good. So we're expecting a very high-paced game here. And Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, we've talked about him so much. 6'5", super athletic, outstanding passer of the ball. Like there was that Andrew Nembhard game winner against the Lakers a couple of nights ago. The pass from Halliburton to get it into the shooting pocket and to drill it with speed to get Nembhard the ball so he could actually take the shot with 0.4 seconds remaining to ice the Lakers at the buzzer. Insane level of talent. I'm happy to invest in this guy with the bet on the first one. But
one more interesting thing about Halliburton. Over the last 3 games, he had 40 assists without a single turnover. Yeah, that's mind-blowing.
It's like Chris Paul level assist numbers and passing numbers, except he's also 6'5", super athletic, and does so much in other facets of the game. He is.
I think he in the couple of years, I think he's already better than Chris Paul, but I think in the next couple of years, I think everyone will agree on that take.
Yeah, it's perennial all-star vibes I get of him. All NBA sort of vibes I get of him. This is a special player the Pacers have. But enough on Halliburton. We've drooled over him enough in the last 3 days. Let's move into the Wizards who are facing against the Nets here. We're going to Bradley Beal over on points. Let's hear the handicap.
So, yeah, Bradley Beal over 22.5 points, which is 110 at BetMGM. I don't know if you remember, but the last time they played the Nets, we also were on Bradley Beal over on points. And he ended up scoring 20 points in 29 minutes. He didn't get any fourth quarter minutes because the Wizards were down like 30 or something. And he was on pace to score like 27 to 28 points. And I expect a similar game tonight, especially since Ben Simmons is out. We'll have like Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, and players like that to play the backcourt, and they are way below average on defensive end. And Nets' defensive scheme is also allowing them a ton of points to opposing shooting guards. So yeah, I think this is a great matchup for Bradley Beal going against Kyrie and KD. And he actually covered this line. He scored 22 plus points in 10 out of the 13 games with 30 minutes this season. So he's on great pace, and his data shows that this line is valuable. And yeah, I really like this spot for him.
And with that Thrive Fantasy handicap you spoke about with Ben Simmons potentially not being available, that's one of the key defenders, of course, and he's starting to really look like himself on the Nets. I like this pick. If Ben Simmons is playing, if he's not playing, probably wouldn't be the main matchup for Bradley anyways, but it would help just not having one of the key defensive players involved for the net. So good spot on Bradley Beal. Moving on into pick number 3, we have 2 more same game parlays for you guys to round off the 4 picks. The first of which is in the Atlanta game. They are visiting the Orlando Magic. We have our eyes on a superstar and a potential, I wouldn't even say potential, a future superstar. Here is the same game parlay.
So same game parlay, Banchero over 70.5 points, combined with Trae Young over 7.5 assists, which is minus 110 at DraftKings and BetMGM. So this one is pretty simple. Banchero covered this line in 13 out of the 14 games this season. He's a very consistent, scoring 18 to 22 points. So I think there is a huge value in this line for him, especially since he scored, I think it was the second game of the season, he scored 20 points on the Hawks. And we have some players out for the Magic tonight, even though some are coming back. But I really like the matchup. I think he's going to play at 4, going against the John Collins. And yeah, Hawks defense is not great when Trae is playing. So I really like this for Banchero. And on the other side, we have Trae Young, over 7.5 assists. Last game they played against Orlando earlier this season, he had 13 assists, and Orlando Magic are allowing, I think, 4th most assists to opposing point guards. And with Trae lowering his usage and increasing his potential assist over the last couple of games, I think he should cover this one pretty easily.
Yeah, Orlando are not a good team this year. They are 5-16. They're definitely in the hunt for a Scoot Henderson or Victor Wembanyama in the draft. The reason for being bad is not Banchero. It's also not Franz Wagner. I think part of it is the guard play, because Banchero and Wagner have been so good this season. The guard play is where Trae Young can take advantage. A lot of small guards on this team. Trae Young can really thrive in those matchups. And like you said with Banchero, he's looking so good this season. So backing him to get the points, fully on board with this pick. So moving on into the 4th pick, we had success with Tyrese Halliburton on Monday. We also had success with the Denver Nuggets against, unfortunately, Pips' Houston Rockets. And Jamal Murray and Jokic had so much fun against the Rockets that we are going right back to them with a pretty identical same game parlay.
So we are betting on Jokic to have over 5.5 assists and Jamal Murray to score over 17.5 points, which is minus 105 at DraftKings. I really like this spot. I mean, I think I'll bet overs against the Houston for the rest of the season for every game. Like, it's just hitting an unbelievable high rate. And yeah, last game, Jamal Murray played only 25 minutes and ended up scoring 31 points. Jokic, same thing, 27 minutes, didn't play any minutes in the 4th quarter, had 8 assists while dropping 32 points. So even though he is a bit more passive tonight, I think he'll still cover this line on assists, because when they are up a lot, he's more looking to assist his teammates than to score. While Jamal Murray can use any game of the season to get back to his best form, they will try to beat him. So yeah, I think this is a great spot. I think this should cover also in 3 quarters.
So it worked on Monday. That doesn't necessarily mean you go right back to it, but when you can get a pretty similar price to what did work against the team on Monday, it usually is an indicator that you can go back to it. That's what we're doing here. I will provide a little bit of solace in the Rockets here on my own portfolio. Not giving out an official pick. I did have the Rockets on a money line bet earlier today on a off-market price that has since moved. So You're wanting the Rockets to. I think you want the Rockets to challenge, be competitive, and then Jamal Murray and Jokic take over. That's the best for a tanking team, but we'll see how they fare in this one. So 4 official picks. We're going to recap it for you to make it a little bit easier. Pacers visiting the Kings. Tyrese Halliburton over 31.5 points plus assists, available -120 at DraftKings. That is the first pick. Second pick on the board, Wizards at Nets. We're going back to Bradley Beal against the Nets, over 22.5 points. That is -110 at BetMGM. Pick number 3, first of the same game parlays between the Hawks and the Magic. Paolo Banchero over 17.5 points, paired with Trae Young over 7.5 assists. That is -110 at DraftKings or BetMGM, whichever you prefer over there. And the fourth pick, which we just spoke about, going back to the well. Nikola Jokic over 5.5 assists and Jamal Murray over 17.5 points. Those two together are -105 at DraftKings against the Houston Rockets. But that will wrap it up from today's show. Let's go cash on some of these picks today. Get a profitable day. This has been Pick and Roll on the Board NBA YouTube channel and the Board NBA Twitter account. That is the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. Make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube to stay up to date with content and to comment and interact with us in real time. Got a nice comment about my shirt, so thank you to the commenter over here. Appreciate that. You can also, we got another nice shirt there. For Zubac. He's actually in my fantasy team. I had Karl Anthony Towns just got injured, so I picked up Zubac. He's been playing well, so I'm on the Zubac train as well here. Beyond that, make sure you've signed up to Thrive Fantasy with code HAMMER to take advantage of the 100% deposit match up to $100. The link for that is on the Twitter in the reply to this live stream. I'll also be tweeting out some stuff later for Thrive, so get involved there. Get involved with their Wednesday $5,000 contest. Simple $20 entry. You can win up to $1,000 there or a share of any of that $5,000. We'll be back tomorrow, as we are for every weekday, for more NBA content at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time with the Hammer Betting Network on the Board NBA branded channels. Thank you so much, guys.